It's the rematch we've been waiting for. Spurs Thunder tonight. Let's break down the game.
You are Locked On Spurs, your daily San Antonio Spurs podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Happy Tuesday. Welcome back to Locked On Spurs. We're here on the Locked On NBA Network. I'm your host, Jeff Garcia, Spurs writer for Kins 5 San Antonio. Glad to have y'all back. Hope you're having a great day. And Christmas Eve is tomorrow, so get ready to have a nice time with friends, family, a long extended weekend for you guys. Enjoy it. Again, from us to y'all, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and all that good stuff. So stay safe, everybody. What are we talking about today? We're going to be looking at the Spurs Thunder game tonight in San Antonio. What did the Spurs do right in that first meeting out of the Cup tournament? What can they do it again? What are some keys to the game? And what about SGA? We're talking about that. And then talk about Wemby's ethical basketball comment. A lot of people are getting riled up still over his comments, what many believed was a shot at the Thunder. We'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Again, I am Jeff Garcia, your host today. I work with Kins 5 San Antonio. I'm the Spurs beat writer. And don't forget to subscribe to Locked On Spurs wherever you get your favorite podcast: iTunes, Spotify, Kins 5 Plus app, YouTube. Go subscribe ASAP. Become part of the #1 sports podcast network in this land. So yeah, let's go and bring in our guest now. He is Mr. Rudy Campos with Box Score Studio, the only man in the universe to ever make Red Hulk shaking his boots, or lack of boots, shaking his shorts.
Yeah, you've mentioned Red Hulk, Thanos, a lot of other people that I meet shaking their boots and shorts. So I have that mythological about me.
That you do. Follow him on X, everybody, at Box Score Studio. More on that later. And Rudy, it is round 2, the rematch that many have been looking forward to. Western Conference clash, Spurs Thunder in San Antonio. The last time these two teams met was during the Cup tournament, where the Spurs beat the Thunder to give them just their second loss in the season. In the West semifinals. It was a great game. It was obviously, for Spurs fans, it was wonderful. Spurs fans went honking downtown San Antonio. Not kidding, everybody. There's a video of that after the Spurs win over OKC. Before we look at tonight's game, let's rewind the clock. Let's look back at that game. Really, what did the Spurs do right to hand the Thunder their second loss of the season?
So the Thunder, their offense is primarily ball movement dominant. You know, when they try to swing the ball, get the open shot, Jalen Williams, Cason Wallace, even SGA, once the ball is moving, it's very difficult. And it's similar to what we saw in the past of the Spurs with the beautiful game against the Miami Heat. You know, that whole season, you saw the ball movement was fantastic by San Antonio. The Thunder have kind of adopted that. They are very hard to beat when that ball movement hits 3, 4, 5 guys on the offensive side. They move without the basketball. They cut. What the Spurs did was they made him a 1v1 team. They clamped down on defense. They made Jalen Williams take it to, try to make something happen. They made SGA dribble the air out of the ball. And when you do that to the Thunder, it really disrupts their offensive flow. So the good thing the Spurs did was they played clamp down defense. They made every single possession difficult for the Thunder. I expect them to do the same, because if you can do that against OKC, they're pretty beatable.
Yeah, they are. And what I liked about how the Spurs won that game, again, we'll get to our keys to the game tonight later on, but they took the OKC punch right on the chin. They took it like Jake Paul, except this time they didn't get their jaw broken. They were able to recover after getting slugged by the Thunder in the first period. That's what I liked about why I thought the Spurs won, because they didn't shake. They didn't get shook. They stayed in the game. The Thunder came out in that first period. I really thought, that, here we go again. Thunder going to thunder, and it's going to be a lopsided game. But the Spurs didn't react negatively to that. They came back and they punched back. They lost the first quarter, but I believe, if I'm correct, they won the second quarter. So the Spurs, I like that about them. I like that too. It showed the Thunder that they're not scared of the big boys in the West, that the Spurs are many consider young, still need seasoning, but they were able to hang with OKC. Another reason I thought the Spurs won that game too is, maybe I'm going too soon for this, but do you think pound for pound they match up better than any team in the West, let alone the NBA, the Spurs, that is?
Absolutely. I think last time we talked, I mentioned to you how the Spurs match up with OKC as far as depth when it comes to bench play.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's going to be OKC, the Spurs, and Denver, once Denver gets healthy. those three teams are going to match up really, really well. The Spurs are probably, I want to say, probably better than Denver when it comes to matching up against Oklahoma City. You saw from the first game, they could go 9-10 guys deep on that San Antonio bench. So, yeah, the matching up with OKC, it's by far almost identical. It just comes down to disrupting the play on the offensive side for OKC. Credit to Sean Sweeney. He's a defensive genius, and I'm sure he studied a lot of film on OKC. He's been dealing with Dallas when he was there as well. So, I mean, the Spurs had a game plan coming in, and it didn't hurt that they were knocking down a lot of shots, and that they didn't do against the Knicks. And that was kind of their downfall against the Knicks. But against OKC, I mean, yeah, they match up perfectly with OKC.
Yeah, the Spurs in that game, they were down as many as 16 points to the Thunder. Again, the Spurs rallied from that. And, anytime the Thunder, at least for the most part of the season, get a lead on you, it's almost impossible to come back because they just can hit you on both ends of the court. They really do look invulnerable at times. But I like what Steph Castle said after the game, saying, like, why is everybody saying they're invulnerable? We have the same mindset too, so you loved it too. And you look at that period too. I mean, the Spurs are ice cold. They went like 0 for 10 from the 3-line that game. That they had to rally. Oklahoma City was sitting about 41% on them. The Spurs were like 24%. It was looking really bad for the Spurs, but I'm glad they were able to get the win. But it's what you mentioned, SGA. You look at his box score, Rudy. He had 29 points versus the Spurs, but why didn't it feel like an SGA game? I mean, that's 29 points, but it still felt like he didn't have his fingerprint on it.
So the 29 points that SGA scored, I mean, they were 29 hard-earned points. And that's the difference, is that you see SGA getting 33, 34, 40 points a game, and it looks like it's very easy for him to do. But against San Antonio, he had to work extra hard. And that's a defensive mindset that we said about. When you make SGA dribble the air out of the ball, make him a 1v1 guy, it's very difficult for him to get to his spot. And let's also look at another factor that I think we're going to talk about later, is the physicality. The refs were allowing the Spurs to play physical with SGA. He wasn't getting a whole lot of calls that he normally did. But because of that, because of the disruption, because making him dribble the ball for like 6 seconds, 7 seconds, getting him out of his rhythm and flow, that is the reason why that 29 points just didn't seem like an SGA type of game. It was harder than 29 points. I mean, the guy's a phenomenal player. We're not going to take anything away from him. But when you've got to make him work and you got to make him take those extra dribbles, make him uncomfortable, it's going to be a very long night for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah. Interesting, in that game, that was Wemby's return, and he came off the bench. And he's been coming off the bench for a few games after that. The Spurs, once again, are being the Spurs. They're slowly integrating him back to heavy minutes. He's been playing under 30 minutes since he's come back. But what I liked about that is, even with Wemby coming off the bench, this team still had the firepower to contend with OKC after the first period. You had Vassell chipping in with double figure scoring. I think I got it right here. You have Vassell. He had 23 points. Fox had 22. Castle had 22. So they were able to find other ways to score, when Wemby was out or coming off the bench. So you like that. Again, going back to your point about the Spurs' depth. Could you say that the Spurs are as deep as the Thunder, or still the Thunder have a deeper bench or deeper team, I should say?
So it's pretty even. I mean, we're gonna say it's really even. What I see the OKC having the advantage of is the experience. Even though they're younger, they've got playoff experience, they've got championship experience already. So I think both teams match up when it comes to depth on the team. When you're looking at the Spurs and say, hey, Carter Bryant and Jeremy Sohan are probably like 9, 10, 11 on our roster. That's a pretty good problem to have. And that's the same problem that OKC has. They've got guys in that 9, 10, 11 spot that can come in and make impactful moments for this team. So I think they evenly matched, but I give a little bit more to OKC just because they've got that championship already under them. They've got the battle scars. They've got all that. Something the Spurs haven't done just yet, but it's right around the corner.
It certainly is. No worries. The Spurs got the win, and that was awesome for them. They were able to advance to the NBA Cup Finals. They came up short, but nevertheless, it still felt like a tremendous tournament run, highlighted by that win versus Oklahoma City. But can they do it again tonight in San Antonio? Let's preview tonight's game, Spurs Thunder. NFL seasons move fast, and one big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is the best way when games start to shift. A receiver gets hot, defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads, money lines adjust instantly, player props update as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, so can you. Thank you for making Locked On Spurs your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayer Club today and get Locked On Spurs with no interruptions, members only, Discord access, and so much more, all for just $5 a month or $50 a year. Check the link in the show notes to learn more. We're back right here on Locked On Spurs, joined by the guy you see on your screen there. He is Mr. Rudy Campos, Box Score Studio. More on that later. Follow him on X at Box Score Studio right now. We're looking at tonight's game, Spurs Thunder, the rematch. And I didn't think about this, man. These two teams are meeting kind of in close days. Not that much days has spread out. You got, the Thunder Spurs in the tournament game. Then a few days later, it's tonight. And then Christmas Day is going to be Spurs Thunder in OKC. Right off the bat, if I'm, we're getting to the preview right now. I got to send this Thunder team a message that first game was not a fluke whatsoever. I'm going to give you my 3 keys to the game in just a few seconds, but I mean, seriously, the statement the Spurs can make to the Thunder if they beat them again, that'll just be very loud, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would send a really big message. I mean, OKC is going to be the best team in the league right now. I mean, they're going to continue to dominate a lot of these games. So I think what the Spurs need to do when it comes to sending that message, you got to come out strong. Now, you did come out strong your first meeting against OKC, but you battled back, you got the win, you fought and clawed through it. I think they've got to come out just as strong as they were in that second, third, and fourth quarter. Make an early statement, continue to make it difficult for SGA, Jalen Williams. The biggest key for me is you've got to contain Hardenstein and Chet Holmgren as well.
Interesting.
If they get going on the inside, if they get a bunch of rebounds, if Chet gets going from 3-point range, it's going to be a long night. But I think their guard play for the Spurs, I'll flat out say, the guard play for San Antonio, the way they've been playing lately, outplays OKC. Ooh. So I will say that much right now. Lately, not overall, just lately in the past few games, the San Antonio Spurs backcourt has been outplaying OKC, just in my opinion. I think it's just, let's call it a spade, Jeff. What Victor are we going to get? I understand he struggled with New York Knicks because of what happened. He had a loss in his family. We're going to X that out. But are we going to get Wemby with the 24, 12, and 6? Are we going to get Wemby with the 14, 9, and 4 or something like that? I think you need to get Wemby to get going a little bit earlier. I think he's got to get in a rhythm. It'll free everybody else open if he gets comfortable. That's my biggest thing, is get him early, keep Chet and Hardenstein off the boards, kind of control them. But our guards have to outplay OKC's guards the way they did that first game.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I show you my 3 keys to the Spurs win tonight? Can I show them on screen for you and then get your reaction to this? Here are my 3 keys to victory for San Antonio. All right, first one, it goes through what you said. That's why I just remember I should flash this image up, or Rudy's going to take all my points before he gets going. Number 1 for me is Spurs guard pressure on OKC defense. How big is that?
Huge. I mean, like I mentioned, you were able to get physical with SGA and all the guards for OKC, and you've got to put a lot of pressure on them. You've got to turn this team into a 1v1 team, as I mentioned on many times. If they get to be a lot of ball movement, it's going to be tough, man. This team thrives on ball movement, like you saw the early Golden State Warriors during that dynasty run. And like we mentioned with the Spurs, if they can move the ball, you got guys cutting, you got guys setting up for 3-point shots. It's going to be difficult. So, yeah, guard pressure on OKC, it's got to happen, man. They got to play major defense on OKC.
Yeah, because if they can get SGA and the rest of those guard crew, or just everybody involved, even the swing guys for Thunder, in foul trouble with the relentless attacking from Harper, from Fox, from Castle, and they call them the Slash Brothers for a reason. You need a slash to that paint, get the Thunder, again, just pick up foul trouble, easy buckets. Whatever you do, get to the free throw line, it'll all come up. Let's go over my point number 2. Don't wilt on OKC runs. They say the game is a game of runs, and we know OKC can do that to teams. That for me, for key number 2, that just shows the mental approach of the game. The Spurs have to understand this Thunder team is PO'd for what happened last time.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very close to a rivalry. I don't think we're there yet, but it's super close. This is probably one of the biggest threats to OKC. If they're going to start to establish a dynasty now, the Spurs are that. But how key is that is for the Spurs to not have a mental meltdown if the Spurs go on some big run?
Massive, massive, massive key right there, because OKC, they're going to go on those 10, 12, 13-0 runs that we've seen them do. It's going to be fast breaks. It's going to be a couple of 3 balls. And that's when you start to see the opposing team kind of shut down. And we saw runs in that first game against OKC where the Spurs, they were down, they were getting, 7-0 runs, 8-0 runs, and you figured, okay, here comes OKC. Then they called timeout. Mitch called a really good timeout at a great time. Or San Antonio decided, hey, you know what? We just got to buckle up and buckle down on defense. And they did. They stopped the run. They kind of controlled everything. But yeah, it's all mental, man. If you start to panic, in quicksand, you're gonna sink faster. So definitely the Spurs, they've got to keep the mindset of, hey, they're gonna get runs, they're gonna get their points. There's a reason why they're one of the top, if not the top scoring team in the league. You got to understand they're gonna make runs, but don't let it bother you.
Yeah, and again, it's gonna be the usual suspects: SGA, Williams, the JW, the whole crew there. They're going to try to attack the San Antonio Spurs. And finally, everybody, yes, we'll take off the graphic in a bit, but I got to leave them up here, everybody to read. My key to a win is limit OKC transition opportunities. I think the Thunder thrive on that, don't they? Getting on the break, getting downhill, attacking right away. They're so bad on offensive rebounding. They're one of the worst offensive rebounding teams that they want to commit to getting in transition immediately. The Spurs have to limit second chances opportunity for OKC. And when we do it is limit those transition opportunities. Rudy, your thoughts to my point 3, key to a win.
Yeah, they thrive on fast break points, the transition points. I mean, OKC is a run and gun type of team. And that's kind of one thing I mentioned on my keys as well, is to kind of control the boards, even on the offensive side. You've got Devin Vassell, you got De'Aaron Fox taking up threes and shooting outside jumpers. If they're missing, you're hoping Wemby or Cornette are there to crash the boards, maybe make it tough, to fight for those rebounds. That way OKC doesn't get on those fast break opportunities. Also, the idea, I think, behind Sean Sweeney as well is to think you're going to have to keep Fox and maybe another guy, maybe Harper or somebody in the backcourt, because if you do lose the rebound on the offensive side, you can kind of have 2 guys back there to kind of thrive, spell a little bit of that OKC transition game. But limit him on the transition. That's out of your 3 keys to victory, Jeff. That's the most difficult. That is the most
that one's tough,
because OKC, no matter how much you want to stop them on a fast break, it's not going to happen. It's so difficult. A lot of these guys, they just, Chet will get the ball and boom, they are gone. So it's very difficult. If they can do that, I could see San Antonio winning by double digits if they were.
Rudy.
I'm just saying, because if they're able to keep OKC in check on the transition, it's, again, you go back to the half court game. You're going to go back to, clapping down on defense. That's what you want to do against OKC. When they run and gun, they're very difficult to beat.
Yeah, well, ahead of the this show, I asked a fan to go, hey, what are your 3 keys to win? And we're all about the fans here. You guys make this show go. So fans submitted their 3 keys to a win over the Thunder tonight. First one is, in no particular order, rough them up, be physical with them. So that's their first key. The one is be faster. So have a faster pace than the Thunder. And this is interesting. This kind of ties into what we talked about, what happened in the first meeting, I should say.
Mhm.
Go with the two big men lineup to start. So I'm assuming Cornet and Wemby to counter maybe Chet and Hartenstein. All right, what do you think about those fan keys to the win?
I agree with all of them, and I like the last one. The two big lineup,
Big
the
man
Twin
lineup,
Tower
yeah.
type lineup there. I'll say this much: as much as I like that lineup, I think the Spurs are more effective with a smaller lineup than that Twin Tower lineup right now. We've seen Cornet and Wemby, but we haven't seen enough to say we feel comfortable with it.
Right.
I think Hardenstein and Chet are probably going to play that Twin Tower lineup that we've seen before from them. But I kind of want the Spurs. I think Harrison Barnes does a really good job on defense. Doesn't get a whole lot of credit on defense. De'Aaron Fox makes it tough as well. He's playing really good on the defensive side as well. Devin Vassell, again, under Mitch Johnson, has having a career year. I mean, I don't even know if it's career year, but it's a way better year than we've seen him under Coach Pop. So again, changing of the coach, changing of the guard, a different system. Devin might be able to thrive in this system. I think they stick with the same lineup, but you may see a Wemby Cornet lineup sometime during the game, especially if they're getting killed on the boards.
Yeah, exactly. And credit Devin. He was a big reason why SGA had not that thumbprint kind of game.
Yeah.
He was really hounding. He blocked his shot, getting up on him, bigger than him as well, longer. So I think you'll see a lot of that. Rudy, you hit on one of your keys to a win. I know we've gone through several of these, but do you have any other keys to a victory?
Man, that's a good one. I had one at the top of my head. I think you got to give me a second here. I'm gonna tell you what.
Let me try to jog your memory. Was it shooting? Was it? I mean, you got to limit those turnovers. Again, it goes back to the transition opportunities. Yeah,
it's not so much a key.
Yeah,
it's just a concept here. I don't expect the Spurs to be as hot from shooting from the perimeter as they were in that first game. So I kind of see them coming down just a little bit, but not by much. And I think a key to that is to, again, not take bad shots, because some of those shots that went up, they probably shouldn't have gone in. You saw them tickle the rim a little bit and fall in, kind of bounce. You get the lucky bounce, stuff like that. It happens. It's a part of the game. So I think a key when it comes to shooting, that was what I was going to bring up with shooting, was take more effective shots. Let's not pretend everything's going to go in. It's not always going to go in, but I'm glad you have the Harper graphic up, because he's my player that you want to watch when it comes in the OKC Thunder game.
Yeah.
Dylan's been playing superb basketball. And, had he been on another team, you're probably talking about top 2, top 3 candidate for Rookie of the Year, because he'd be getting a whole lot more run, probably be a starting lineup for a lot of other teams. But he's my key factor coming into OKC. He's been playing so well. He can make it so difficult for that bench guys coming off of OKC's bench. So watch for Dylan Harper. If I go on a stat line, I say probably 17, 5, and 3.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's really good. Hey, look, if you're going against the Thunder, you take any type of production you can, because it's going to be versus the Thunder. It's an all hands on deck kind of situation. And again, I really hope the Spurs get the W tonight. What a message to send, again, not just to the Thunder, but the rest of the West, the rest of the league, that this team has arrived and then some. All right, you know what? For tonight's game, I'm gonna say Spurs win, but again, it'll be a very close game, very similar to what we saw in the Cup game. What do you think?
I agree. I think if I go with the score, I'm taking Spurs beat OKC 117-113.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, I think it'll be very, very close. All right, there's our game preview for you. Gave you some keys to the victory. Even fans chiming in on what they feel is the key to the Spurs win. Let us know what you think. You let Rudy know on X at Box Score Studio. Let me know on X at Jeff G Spurs. When we get back, Wemby and his comments, ethical basketball. Is that a shot at the Thunder? Let's talk about that coming up right next, right here on Locked On Spurs. Nobody knows money goals better than you. Robinhood puts you in control of money with tools that work as hard as you do. Locking in on every opening, breathing your PR, beating it again, channel that drive into your money. Robinhood puts you in control of your money. Trade stocks and ETFs, option, futures, and crypto all in one platform. You can now build and execute your own trades from a desktop. Robinhood's Legend Advanced tools, or take advantage of the new Robinhood strategies with a tailored portfolio managed by a team of experts. You expect more from yourself, expect more from your money. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Again, that's Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. One thing that Rudy loves is smack talk. Smack talk. He thrives, which is it was like in the 80s and 90s, although the NBA players still do the smack talk. But Rudy, after the win versus the Thunder in the Cup game, many feel that Wemby took a shot at the Thunder. And they feel like, okay, Wemby, we see what you're doing here, bucking up there. And in essence, I think y'all heard about it by now. You know what he said was that, hey, I'm glad I'm playing with a team that plays sound battle, ethical basketball. And a lot of people thought, again, that was a shot at the Thunder because many feel that the Thunder foul hunt, SGA, big culprit, that you can't touch the Thunder, that, you know, it's they get all the calls. In other words, ethical basketball. Now, you've seen people like from sports commentator Nick Wright, even former NBA player Udonis Haslem, take an issue with Wemby's comment. Now, credit Haslem. Haslem did react to Wemby's comment, but he did say he understood that may or may not have been a director of the Thunder. But he took the side that if it was, that Wemby needs to chill because that's the Thunder they're talking about. They're the champs. Spurs are not. Nick Wright even went beyond saying like, hey, you know, Wemby, don't be talking. You haven't done anything yet, you know, in the NBA. So, although, you know, I guess I checked, he was a rookie of the year. Let's see, defensive guy, and the list goes on and on. But nevertheless, all-star. But nevertheless, Rudy, did you think that was a shot at the Thunder?
I mean, it's obvious that it probably was a shot. It happened after the Thunder game. I mean, you're coming off of a win. I think it was more of a comment made in a high moment for him coming off of a win. But look, you know, I'm not defending OKC by any means. We all see the calls that they get. We all see SGA, you know, kind of foul bait a little bit. But what I guess fans have to understand is that if you're getting away with it and they're not calling it, you're going to continue to do it until they catch on. And until the refs in the league say, you know what, we've got to call it a lot closer. We've got to do this. We've got to do that. They're going to continue to do it. And if they're not going to call it, they're not going to call it. It's so frustrating, but that's kind of the way the game is played. I can see people saying, chill out, Wembley, chill out. I'm not telling you, hey, speak your mind. If you've got to say something, say it. You know, the refs are going to get a lot of heat if you continue to, you know, say certain things about them, not making these calls, that calls. He's got a right to talk about it. He's got a right to talk about it. But put it on the other hand. Again, I'm probably going to get hate on YouTube for this because your fans will come at me, but put the shoe on the other foot. If the Spurs were the ones getting a lot of calls, would fans be complaining? I mean, it kind of goes both ways, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. I mean, you hear even NBA players like in those candid moments you can catch in the microphone during games. I believe it was a couple of years ago. I think it was Bol. I think it was. You know what? I'm not gonna say it. It was just a big NBA big, and they were getting Wemby was getting a lot of foul calls, and that player yelled at the refs. What did he yell? He just made a comment. You can hear it during the game. It's just something like, all you gotta do is bleep ride him. You know, referring to Wemby. So, it does work both ways. But again, you know, personally, I don't think it was a shot at the Thunder. I think that was just sometimes Wemby is still trying to learn the English language, and he picks words that may not fit the context. If anything, I took it as if like he was just doing a self-reflection on.
Are you defending him?
Defending who?
Wemby on this?
I mean,
I'm not saying he's wrong. I mean, you can defend it. I'll defend him on that too.
Well, I'm more like taking the point of like, I think it's just him not fully grasping the English language. So I don't think that's what I said. I don't think it was a shot at the Thunder. I think that was just a reflection of Wemby still trying to learn the English language. I'll give you a good example. I'm bilingual. I speak Spanish, okay?
Sure.
But my Spanish was crafted from education, family, and self-teachings, all right?
Mhm.
So when I talk to somebody like from Mexico or, born and raised there and everything, I'll use words that make sense, that fit. It flows, but the context throws it off. So that's how I took it as just Wemby not throwing shade at the Thunder, more like I'm using a word that yes fits, but in context, could have been a better word. And I also took it as him reflecting on the fact that he's just thankful to be a Spur. Like I'm just good to be a Spur. Like, I mean, we play good basketball here, style of basketball that I like, I took it as that. But the only reason now that I'm leaning towards that way, but I'm not 100%. The reason why I'm more 80% thinking like it's not a shot, that 20% I was thinking it was, because we saw during the game he was flexing at the Thunder players. And didn't he stare down Caruso?
Yeah, he did. And I think he used a derogatory word towards him. I think it's been caught on some video or some audio, but yeah, I mean, that's why I said if it was a day or two after that, I mean, you probably wouldn't think anything of it, but the comment being made pretty much directly right after the game. I mean, it's bad timing. And that's why, again, I don't care that he said it. I'm glad he said it. If you need to say it, say something. But what does Bill Belichick and a lot of coaches say? Don't give that other team bulletin board material. So of course they're gonna use that as bulletin board material. They could come out super strong. They could do whatever they want. But again, if you can get away with it, you can get away with it. What do they say? If you're not cheating, you're not trying. So, I mean,
exactly.
Yeah. If the Spurs were getting away with a bunch of calls, you wouldn't hear a peep from Spurs fans. Well, we'll take it.
Hey, do you think there's a Spurs Thunder rivalry? Do you think it's existing right now? I don't think there is, because I think to be a rival, don't you have to kind of both sides kind of have to win something collectively as a team? Like, the Spurs Lakers in the 90s, early 2000s, Lakers, Spurs, both Western Conference champions, both multiple Western Conference champions, both multiple NBA champions, and the road to the finals in the West went through those two guys, and that being the Spurs and the Lakers, and they were the cream of the crop. If you use that as a baseline, then I don't think the Spurs and Thunder are there. But I think it's very close, though.
They had a rivalry back with Harden, Westbrook, Durant. Those days with the Thunder. I think that was a semi-rivalry. Right now, is it fair to say the only rivalry between the Thunder and Spurs might be in the fans' minds? I think so. It's not so much. I think a lot of people pit the Chet Holmgren versus Victor matchup, and I think that's the reason why a lot of people, maybe take this as a rivalry and look at it that way, because there's a lot of guys out there that feel Chet Holmgren is still better than Victor Wembanyama. So, I mean, as long as people are saying that, you're going to have some kind of rivalry. But overall, I don't think it's quite a rivalry yet, but it's getting there. It's really getting. Again, you got two of the best teams in the West right now, two teams that can go 10, 12 guys deep, on the roster. So it's getting there. It's getting there. If the Spurs win, I mean, you might see something brewing.
Yeah, I think it's the beginning of a rivalry. The Spurs have to, one, at minimum, have a good playoff run. Maybe knock on the door of a Western Conference Finals or get to it, and you come short. Look, I love them to make a title run, but I don't think that's going to happen this season. But I think it's a lot closer than we think. I would not be surprised if it could happen next season, a title run. Yeah, but it's just why? Because the Spurs are still not battle tested yet. They're not bad. What was everybody saying about that Cup Finals game? Oh, this is the first time in a while that the Spurs have tasted something similar to playoff experience, aka they're not seasoned yet in money time. That is postseason. The Thunder are not just winning the title last year, but they've had a couple seasons where they went far in the playoffs, and they got that experience. So the Spurs, I think their first step into catching up to the Thunder to make it a rivalry starts this season. They already took one step, beating them in a a cup tournament game, which is okay. That's good. I think taking them on tonight and winning tonight will send a message to that will add more seasoning, add more fuel to the fire. And then I think, for me though, if I highly doubt it, but can imagine the magnitude it would be if the Spurs beat the Thunder in OKC on Christmas Day?
Ooh, you're asking for a lot there.
That's a lot. I mean, you would have to beat the Thunder 3 times: cup game, tonight, and then the Thunder in OKC. So,
I think if you think it's going to be a rivalry, I think if they were to beat them 3 times, when this is all said and done, I would say, yeah. I think then you've got some kind of birth, because now you've got OKC fans. You've got OKC thinking the same thing I think when the Spurs play Phoenix this year. Why can't we beat the Phoenix Suns? OKC is going to think the exact same way. Why can't we beat the San Antonio Spurs? So you can't get a rivalry going, especially if it leads into a playoffs. I mean, the playoff matchup would be really, really good. But I don't know if that's asking for a lot. Could it happen, Jeff? It very well could happen. I mean, again, they match up really well. As long as everybody stays healthy, these games should be very good.
Yeah. Tonight's game should be a very thrilling one. I hope so. I hope it is. I do not want to see. I would love to see a Spurs massacre of the Thunder. I would hate to see an OKC massacre of the Spurs. But again, round 2, OKC fans, Spurs fans are getting into social media. We saw a little bit of some shade being thrown during the game, possibly some shade after the game with Wemby's comment. So it should make for a great team. I would love for this Spurs and Thunder team to meet in the playoffs this year. I think it just be electric. But we shall see. We got to take care of business tonight, and that is getting a win over OKC in San Antonio. Rudy, what is Box Score Studio? Tell all the fans about that.
So Box Score Studio, it's the rebrand. I don't even know if I call it a rebrand anymore of our old Sweep the League. We kind of retired Sweep the League, and we came up with Box Score Studio. With Box Score Studio, all you got to do is go to YouTube, search Box Score Studio TV, hit the subscribe button. What do we do now? We've got our same sports shows. We still got Grady the Market. We've added a production type of studio thing, which we've I'll give you a little tidbit here. We're about to release our first documentary that we did. Okay. So we're going to be documentary based as well. You're going to get some NBA documentaries, NFL as well, possibly some former players as well, doing some documentaries on them. But there's going to be one coming out very, very soon. As soon as it's released, I'll let Jeff know so he can share it out. But yeah, Box Score Studio, it's just a whole bigger production than what we're doing at Sweep the League. A lot more coming too. So just be sure to go to YouTube, Box Score Studio TV.
Yeah, exactly. Do that right now, or easy. Just follow Rudy on X. See on your screen right there, Box Score Studio. That follow, you'll get all the updates, links, and everything. Or just go to YouTube, as he mentioned, and Box Score Studio. It's a great show. Cannot wait to see what's cooking from Rudy and his crew in the coming days. That documentary style thing is going to be awesome. It's just going to be awesome, and something unique and different that rarely, but he's really doing around these parts, San Antonio, just whatever. You're going to be one of the first. So kudos, Rudy. Keep it going. Rudy, thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedule. And by the way, happy holidays to you and yours. So
yeah, happy holidays to you guys as well.
Be safe. Hopefully Santa gives you all the stuff you want and all that fun stuff. So again, Rudy, thank you. And everybody else, thank y'all for making Locked On Spurs your first listen each and every day. Free and available wherever you get podcasts, iTunes, Spotify, Ken's 5 Plus app, YouTube. Go subscribe ASAP. Become part of the #1 sports podcast network in the nation. We appreciate it. We got something called the Everydayers Club. So basically that is where you to be, just show off how true a fan you are, how big of an everydayer you are here at Locked On Spurs. You want to go there right now. There's a link in the description below. It's ad-free show, the Discord channel, so much. Go sign up ASAP. Again, description of the YouTube description below. So go do that right now. We'll be back tomorrow as the Spurs season continues. Hopefully talking about a Spurs win. Crossing fingers. Heads up, likely will not be a show on Thursday and Friday. So just a heads up. Still trying to figure that out, but leaning towards nothing on Thursday, Friday because of the holiday. and I will probably be out of town too. So there's that as well. But nevertheless, thank you all for coming to Locked On Spurs each and every day. So for Rudy Campos, I am Jeff Garcia. We're going to put a lock on this episode of Locked On Spurs.